Mate, your deep dive, you're going to talk a little bit about buy planning. Normally when we hear buy planning, we straight away think the state of origin period. Obviously with buys, week to week this season, you're also going to touch on week to week over the next few weeks. And you've given me a little bit of an insight to what this is, and I'm very interested. So take her away.
So deep dive this week is around the week to week buys and what impact that has on Supercoach. And I know, because it's the first time in a long time and possibly the first time in Supercoach that we've had to deal with the weekly buy, but lots of people said, I'm just not going to overthink it. I don't need to worry about it too much. I'm going to take it as it comes and sit people like that. Wrong decision. Guru?
Who's got two thumbs and was thinking like this? This guy.
And a lot of these deep dives come off the back of me doing my own plan. You go, shit, note that. So I'll use my example for you. And I currently have Joe Taffney, Stefano Udakamanu in my front row, Davey Moali and Franklin Pele on my bench. Moali doing nothing, minutes probably going to get less and less. Pele injured long term. Regardless, did not want to have to play them in my starting front row forward. Taffney, Udakamanu, both doing fine, happy with them, happy to score okay in the meantime and prioritise other positions. Next week, Tigers have the bye, mate. So all of a sudden, Taps is there at front row, and I have to play as it stands, Moali or Pele. Not playing Pele because he's not in. Moali, he might not be in the team next week. All of a sudden, need a front rower. At the same time, need Nico Hines in my side. Need to free up cash there. So there's two spots that I need to focus my trades around, which will lead to probably using a boost, I'd say, next week. The week after, Canberra Raiders have the bye. Joe Tappany's on the bye. So Stefano will be back. Same problem. Moali or Pele. And this is where you need just... Not everyone has all week to look at their Supercoach team and all those hours. Just look at least 1 week ahead to who has the bye coming up and see how that will impact your team. Because it's significant. Again, Adam Dewey at 5'8". The problem with the Tigers is I've got Udakamanu there and Dewey, and they're in two of my, I suppose, weaker positions at the moment. Weaker in that I'll have to play Isaiah Katoa next week when Dewey's out if I choose to keep Dewey, which is okay as a 1 week play, but not the best. So you have to look at these things and just at least 1 week ahead, have a look at it, who's on the bye, and I would recommend, if you have a bit more time, have a look at 2 weeks ahead and who is on the bye. So it's so important. And anyway, I said, mate, you weren't alone. There are a lot of well-credentialed Supercoach experts out there that just said, I'm not going to look too much into it, but you have to, mate.
Yeah, for sure. That Stefano situation is going to be very interesting for me. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to handle that or what I'm going to do there.
Because who's your second front rower?
Welsh.
Yeah.
Followed by the all-star front row bench of Davey Moali and Franklin Pele.
Frank the Tank.
Jeez. I tell you what, when he ran on for Canterbury the other night, if you thought the roar for Josh Reynolds was loud, you should have heard me and Timmy when Frank the Tank came on. Yeah. Standing O's, how good.
He got a couple of metres from a try. He was about 4 metres from the try. I'm like, reach out, Frank.
How good. So good. And then fractured his arm, so... Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. And, he punched out 31 and you're like, all right, the wheels are starting to turn. We're back. We're good. Yeah. We'll get 50K out of it. No,
Physio at Canterbury is not getting paid enough, whatever it is. No. Mate, anything else on your week-to-week buy planning? Something really good for a lot of people to think of.
Yeah, not much, mate. Just minimum 1 week ahead. At bet, even 2 weeks ahead, ideally. Just have a look at it because it is important. And... you won't know it until it hits you, and when it hits you, you'll go, oh, shit.
Yeah. Rattle stations. Mate, we just sort of touched on it a little bit, but your front row forward, cheapies and options. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be up shit creek without a paddle over the next 2 weeks. A lot of names here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so sort of do your research during the week, and I've got a good little routine with all the podcasts during the week and whatnot. And then you find yourself a Tuesday afternoon spending 3 hours looking at front row forward cheapie options in the next 2 weeks.
Wait till you're in a draft comp, mate, and you spend every Tuesday night trying to find a front row forward that's going to get you 45 fucking points. Nightmare.
Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting and it's pretty depressing. I'm going to go through in all the ones that say sub 400K to plug holes. So there'll be a lot of people in a similar situation to us. Whether it be the week Tapney's out, whether it be next week with Uda Kamanu out, and they don't have 3 decent front rows and you're in all sorts. Who are the options that we can trade in? Now, let's talk about number one, and that's Isaac Fasua-Malawi. Low break even, played 2 games, scored well last game, on the bench for the Titans, front row forward, 4 forward bench named. What's your take on him?
I don't mind him. I question whether they will bring in this hooker from England as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up on the bench. If so, I like him even more. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I haven't probably watched as much as Isaac as what I would have liked so far, so I'm probably not the best person to comment, but I do think he will get good minutes there. I obviously think, being the brother of Tino.
You think he will get good minutes?
I think he'll get half-decent minutes. Good enough minutes to make the trade. It's not something I'll be doing personally, but I can understand why people are doing it.
So, okay, so yeah, that's interesting. I don't mind him because of his price as a cash grab, but as a bloke that, if I'm bringing him in, I'm probably going to have to play him for next week and
That's
the
true.
week after.
Yep.
So that's where the issue comes in. Who was next on my list here? How are we sitting out at the game on Sunday night? It was just the Griffin Neem show, mate.
Yeah, it was impressive, wasn't it? He was on fire.
So, names starting the edge this week. We sort of spoke off air about it. We think that maybe Mitch Dunn has to play in the edge, doesn't he? Griffin Neem in the middle.
Yeah, I can't see that playing out like they've named.
So, 371k, break even to really good on the weekend. 74 points, 52 in base, 59 minutes. Possibly a little bit inflated, but not necessarily a lot. Jordan McLean out. Hylam Lukey out.
James Tarmo out.
James Tarmo out. Ruben Cotter comes back. I don't mind him. Like, he's a worker. Found 4 or 5 tries last season. He's just that bit more awkward price at 370. I wouldn't feel good about it, but...
It doesn't feel right, does it?
It doesn't feel right, but that's me. Like, I'm only looking for a front row who can come in, make me a bit of cash and score me, punch out a couple of 45s.
Yeah.
And he could be the one. The issue is Nanai's back next week. Dunn pushes back into the middle rotation. Cotter will have more minutes under his belt. First game back from injury. So, like, I need Neem more for next week and the week after as opposed to being this week.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I agree with you on all fronts there. And if Neem, if he's... Yeah, you'll end up with someone else in that front row rotate, like surely one of Cohen Hess or Mitch Dunn or whoever it is moves out of there too. So
if the bench stayed as it was with Chester there, I'd be like, oh, happy days.
That's a conversation changer, 100%. I don't mind the Neem play. I won't be doing it myself. It doesn't feel right to me. Even the bench, mate, like JTB and Riley Price, you're not going to get huge minutes out of those guys either. He's shown that he can play big minutes, Griffin Neem. You said he can score a try too. So
won the trust of the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think that's... And I think that... I think he's always had the trust of them because last year, like, he had some really good games, did some good things, but fuck me, he's got an error in him.
Yeah.
And Todd Payton just keeps backing him in. So he obviously must like the kid. I can understand where you're going with it. It's not going to be for me, but I think there's much worse options.
Break it, and look, because there's all these front rowers, and anyone in this situation, particularly around Stefano, sorry mate, voice going, around Stefano, the issue will be more next week. So you can have a look at him. Most of the time, break even 2. He's going to make a bit of cash, but if you're really worried, you can have a look.
Yeah. You got your own flu pod coming on just quietly? Fuck, it's a piss weak version of it.
Mate, I'd hate... we'll get to about halfway through the season, won't be able to speak. Next on the list, you're going to hate this. You really are. Cohen Hess. 375k, averaging 36. Particularly underwhelming this season. But at least
he did kill Apollo Creed.
He did kill Apollo Creed. Big tick. The minutes are there, and I don't think they're going anywhere. So he's averaging 67 minutes this season for 36 points. break even 36, which is ordinary. We know he can score a try, I know. We say we know we can score a try. I might be looking back to about 5 years ago.
Bit a minute.
Yeah, it's a bit of stretch. But you know what I mean? Like, he's 375k. Then he could play 80 minutes this week and the next couple of weeks. Hylam Lukey was hammy, so maybe he probably has a few more weeks to overcome it. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm not into it. I just... if trading Griffin Neem in doesn't feel right...
That feels whole.
Cohen Hess feels like I've got a sock on for a glove. No, thank you. Just on that too, mate, just something else to add in. Obviously, completely off topic here, but Cruz Lehman, the hooker from the Titans, has just been added in. I thought there was a chance we might get a real cheapie here. 384k.
Oh.
So people that thought maybe he could be an option, nah, Gonski. So it's back to your Sonny Lukes and these guys. Sorry, mate, continue with your front row forward.
Sean Kepi, look, he's gone up 56k. He's another one that's like, you're not going to get much money out of him, but he's getting decent minutes. His work rate's okay. He's basing 38 per game. That's in 42 minutes per game, averaging 40. So he's cheap. He'll do a job. He'll come in, he'll get you his 40 to 45, but there's just so little upside to him.
Yeah, I mean, in saying that, mate, we're 3 games in, he's gone 40, 36, 38, 47. So yeah, I mean, but in saying that, if you have Sean Kepi, this is exactly who you knew you were getting. Your one big advantage is that you have got a duel, which I think is absolute fucking gold there. Yeah,
and like, though next week when people lose Stefano, you could plug him in and go, he'll get me his 40. If you can jag a couple of offloads or something, he might get 50.
Yeah. Who else you got there?
The last on the list, it's just going through ones that need an injury. And there's blokes like Wiramu Greg, who starts this week, and then Tom Ale, take over.
Tom Ale, Wiramu Greg, Tepai Maroa, Leo Thompson, who I think looks unreal at the moment, up there for the Newcastle Knights. Josh Kerr, you've got on the list here. One that I'm just not convinced on his minutes, especially with Jack de Belin coming back. And the last name there, Christian Welsh, mate. Most of us already own Christian Welsh. You don't, which I asked you about before, and Jesus Christ, I certainly hit a nerve. They're going to jump across the table and beat the living shit out of me.
Oh, you don't own Christian Welsh?
I hope you know that's exactly what you sound like. I really hope you're aware of that.
Wrong again, mate. Christian, he's not that highly owned. 33% of the top 100, 39% of the top 1,000, 33% of the top 100,000. So, like, a solid number, but he's fallen off the radar, I think, for a lot. I haven't seen any chat about him because of the one game against the Titans where he quite weirdly played 33 minutes in that blistering heat up on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and like, owners would know this, round 1, 67 in 57 minutes. Round 2, 51 in 62 minutes. Round 4, 55 in 47. Round 5, 55 in 47. Pretty much entirely in base. 452k, so you're paying a bit more, but his job security's fine. We know he can offload. He hasn't offloaded in 3 weeks. So I'm like, it's all work rate. If he can start freeing the arm a little bit, like, I don't love it, but I'm tempted just to... And again, I've got some planning to do around getting Nico in as well because I need to shore up my front row a little bit. But it's just going one of my front row forward teams, Pele or Moali. Obviously, ideally, I'd be getting rid of Pele first, but getting rid of one of them two and going to Christian Welch just to shore it up.
Yeah.
Going good.